Hey, what's up, AP peeps? We have chapter 3 for you today, which is going to focus on the northern colonies and a lot on New England in particular. So let's get going. All right, we're going to go back in time a little bit, go back to Europe, and we're going to have the Protestant Reformation. And this is going to lead to a whole bunch of new branches in Christianity. And it all starts really with Martin Luther and his 95 Theses or protests against the Catholic Church, and this divides Christianity. Then we have a guy by the name of John Calvin who comes along afterwards, and his followers are known as Calvinists. And they believe in predestination, and God chose those that would be saved. In other words, you're born, God determines if you're going to go to heaven or hell when you die, and there's nothing that you can do to stop it. We have Puritans who are going to play a huge role in New England. And Puritans were Calvinists, so they believed in predestination. They wanted to purify the English, often called the Anglican Church, of all Catholic rituals. So the Anglican or English Church is the Church of England, and the King of England is in charge of the church. And Puritans felt that the church was fine except for some Catholic rituals. So they didn't want to break away from the English church. Very important to know. They did not want to break away. They just wanted to fix it. And they believe that only visible saints or really good people should be admitted to church membership. So it should be a highly selective church. Separatists, on the other hand, they are extreme Puritans, where the Puritans did not want to break away. They wanted to purify. Separatists said, nope, there's no saving this. We need to separate ourselves from the Church of England altogether. They are very similar to Puritans, except they want to separate. And they were harassed heavily in England, so they wanted to leave England. And the most famous separatists are the Pilgrims. Let's talk about Pilgrims for a moment. And they signed and drew up the Mayflower Compact, which is just a simple agreement, and it is just a simple agreement that the government will be run by the will of the majority. In other words, if most people want something, that's how it will be decided. And this is a promising step towards self-government because later adult male settlers assembled in town meetings. So this is an example. This is where one of the ideas for self-government comes from. There's a couple, but this is one of them. In Massachusetts Bay Colony now, we have a guy by the name of John Winthrop, and he is the colony's first governor. And he declared in a very famous speech that the purpose of the colony was to be a city upon a hill. And holy cow, I cannot stress enough how important this is. It does not mean the Massachusetts Bay Colony was going to be located on a hill. Here is John Winthrop. Rather, what it means is that they had an agreement with God and they had to be a moral or a model society for humankind. So they would be so good, their morals would be so good, they'd be such great human beings that other cities all over the world, civilizations all over the world are going to look to them. That was his goal. They had town governments, and the type of government was decided by town hall meetings. And this again is an early form of government but it's very limited. It's democratic in theory, but it's very limited to the amount of people that practice this. And this is limited to white landowning male church members. So it's a very small group of people, but they were the ones that made the decisions. Not all was well in Massachusetts Bay. We had a couple separatists who challenged the church's authority, and we have two religious dissenters that you need to know. First one is Anne Hutchinson, and here is Anne. She freaked a lot of people out, most notably because she was a woman, and this was very taboo at this time. She was known for challenging the authority of the clergy or the church in the Bay Colony. She claimed to have direct contact with God, and she challenged gender roles in the church. So if you ever see a question about what Anne Hutchinson does that upsets people, she challenged something. It was either gender roles or the authority of the church. Somebody else who freaks out Massachusetts Bay Colony even more and was actually good friends with John Winthrop was Roger Williams, and he was an extreme separatist. He said there's no saving the Church of England. We have to break away from it altogether. He said that the Bay Colony Charter was no good because they did not pay Native Americans for their land. So he was very friendly to Native Americans. And he also said the government cannot regulate religious behavior. And he was banished to Rhode Island, a new colony that is founded. So let's talk about some colonies really quick. In Rhode Island, complete religious toleration to all. Not just Christians, everybody. It did not matter what religion you were. And the two people to associate are the two ones we just talked about, Roger Williams and Anne Hutchinson. If we're talking about New Hampshire, know that their economy was based on fishing and hunting, and a lot of New England is going to be fishing. Connecticut, we have the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut, which is a one of the earliest forms of a constitution. In Pennsylvania, founded by this guy, William Penn, which was a proprietor colony, meaning that the King of England gave him land so he could make money on his own. He was a Quaker, and some aspects of Quakers, complete religious toleration. They were pacifists, which means they did not believe in fighting or wars. They were very friendly to Native Americans, and they also advocated women's rights. So the two places, if you wanted to settle in New England and you were not Christian and you wanted lots of freedom to kind of practice whatever religion you wanted, you'd want to go to either Rhode Island or Pennsylvania. Let's go back to religion in the colonies really quick. Summary of colonies that promoted religious toleration. Rhode Island and Pennsylvania are at the top of the list. They were the most tolerant. Another form of religious toleration was Maryland, but again, that was only to Christians, and that the Maryland Acts of Toleration granted religious toleration to Christians only. A colony that did not promote religious toleration was Massachusetts Bay, and they believed that toleration should only be extended to Puritans, to nobody else. Remember, Roger Williams and Hutchinson, they were separatists. What happened to them? They got booted. I've seen in many review books questions that ask something along the lines of Massachusetts Bay believes that religious toleration should be extended to, and the answer is only Puritans. They did not believe in religious toleration for anybody else. Let's talk about conflict with Native Americans. Pequot War and King Philip's War. King Philip was the name of a Native American leader, and his Indian name was Metacom. So if you see King Philip, don't associate him with any king from Europe, especially King Philip from Spain. He is a Native American. All wars during these times are fought over land, and the Native Americans lose. And after King Philip's War, what's important to know about this is that Native Americans in New England only pose a sporadic threat. In 1643, we had the New England Confederation, which was formed by New England colonies to make a defense against natives, Dutch, and French. So it's a form of protection. But the really big reason why we care about it is as an example of colonial unity. And pre-American Revolution, you're going to see so many examples of colonial unity. Be familiar that this is one of the earliest examples of it. Let's talk about the English government really quick. The Dominion of England, this was established to enforce the navigation laws, which said that colonies could only trade with England or their colonies. So colonies, in theory, under the navigation laws, could not trade with France, Spain, Portugal, etc. But we know that colonies got around these laws by doing something. Do you know what it is? It's America's pastime. It's not baseball. Smuggling! Then we have salutary neglect, which is the British philosophy of ruling the colonies. And England basically says, look, you guys, you rule yourselves as long as you're making money for us. We are going to let you rule yourselves and decide your own forms of government. That's why we have town hall meetings. That's why we have the Virginia House of Burgesses. As long as you're making money, we'll let you do your own thing. We'll let you have some freedom, do what you want to do, but you better be making money. Do you know what year salutary neglect ends? Very important. 4 major things happen that year, and the end of salutary neglect is one of them. Give up? No, you know this. Come on. Yes, you're right. 1763. Good job. Okay, that's it for Chapter 3. Questions, comments, concerns, more explanation. Hey, you did not explain this right. Please tell me more about it. Hey, that was a really good job. Thank you for this. Anything you want to tell me, please let me know. Email me or leave in the comments. Subscribe. Hit the little subscribe button so you get all these videos. I'm going to have over 50 videos by the time the PUSH exam comes, and you wait up late at night waiting to hear these videos. And finally, spread the word like this guy. Scream from the rooftops. Go outside. Scream. That is it for me. Have a great day, guys.